please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. It's good to see you. Katie, could I have a roll call for attendance, please?
Councilperson Bentley?
Here.
Runs?
Here.
Flynn?
Here.
Morrissey? Soha?
Present.
Stuchel?
Here.
Wolfram?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Kennedy?
Here.
Yes, 7 present.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, we will move on to the approval of the agenda. We have one item to add that is before the council members here, a resolution of support related to Hillsdale Renaissance's purchase of the Hillsdale Rail Yard. And we are going to remove, Communications E, thank you. Commissioner Ingalls is not here with us tonight. Could I get a motion?
Move to amend with the resolution for Hillsdale Renaissance and the addition of Commissioner's verbal update.
Thank you.
Support.
Thank you. Motion on the floor from Councilman Soha, seconded by Councilman Flynn. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We have an amended agenda. Could I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve amended. Support.
Motion on the floor to approve the amended agenda from Councilman Soha, seconded by Councilman Flynn. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We have an agenda, and we will move on to Roman numeral 4, public comments on agenda items. Please state your name and your ward or your address. You have 3 minutes to speak, and please speak only on items that are directly related to the agenda. The podium is open.
Hi there, I'm Joshua Wechter at 304 Scenic Drive, and I'm actually, the germane item I'm speaking on is the minutes from the special council session from last Wednesday. I had the privilege of attending that meeting, which is more than can be said of several of the members here, in violation of the city charter section 6.6, under which you were required to be there. And of course I should be mentioned for the record, I'm saying specifically Councilman Stuchel, Flynn, Morrissey, and Soha. So what I want to comment on is the absence of these members from that meeting. Your ostentatious absence, in my mind, is perhaps the most public sign yet of your contempt for the citizens of this city, whom you allegedly represent. If this were a serious government, instead of a low-budget circus, you would all face a serious penalty for your abrogation of duty. Of course, I'm sure nothing will happen, because no one is punished around here unless you come into the crosshairs of the process. In that case, as has occurred with many people who we heard time and time again at public comments, a city ordinance or something like it will somehow materialize and be weaponized against you. But if you side with special interests in this town and the process over the people, then you're considered perfectly respectable. I could say a lot more, but I'll close by remarking on the absolutely childish behavior of some members of this council relating to this road diet issue. So Councilman Flynn accused Councilman Bentley and his supporters of panicking over this road diet. Then meanwhile, we have Councilman Stuchel over here gurgling and spluttering with rage and with insults at every meeting where this issue comes up. So you talk about decency, and then you give the middle finger by not even showing up to a special session at which you were required to be. So I'm shocked by the indignation and the contempt displayed when objections are raised about this boondoggle project, just because it goes against this nameless, faceless process. And I speak for a lot of people when I say that I don't give a damn about your bureaucratic process. The point of representative government is for government to change its course of action in response to a change in public opinion, not ignore and deride the public. And that same thing can be applied, by the way, to the special assessments. Oh, one person's had it, so everyone has to have it. The point is that if the public opinion changes and turns against it, you need to stop. I'm sick and tired of being told to shut up and pony up for ever increasing taxes. So I'm originally from San Antonio, which is one of the largest and fastest growing cities in America, and I pay almost as much in taxes and utility bills here as my parents do, with a much nicer house and with public services that actually work. I paid a whole extra year of taxes here just to have the government perform the basic function of having my roads redone. You go for hundreds of thousands of dollars in city money for this road diet, then you turn right around and say, we can't fix residents' roads. Guess we'll have to impose special taxes on them. Nothing here works. I've lost track of the number of power outages this year, including the one last Wednesday, which occurred in the morning on a sunny day. You can't keep the power on. You can't fix the roads. You can't put criminals in jail. You can't perform the basic functions of government. I'm appalled by this lack of responsibility, and I'm not alone in that feeling. So my advice is you guys should do your job and you should actually govern instead of doling out money for pet projects. Because a lot of people, including myself, are going to make their voices heard in this next election. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Hamilton, Ward 4. I want to apologize because I was misinformed and I've been better informed. And I understand now that special assessment districts in Michigan are actually legal by Michigan state law. There's not a county ordinance or a county statute that changes that significantly. And so I want to apologize for having popped off at the meeting on the 18th, for those of you who were there. Those of you who were not there, I can't tell you how much I agree with the young gentleman. You're spending our money, and I'm not done with SADS. You're about to get in my pocket on South Street. And my pocket's not the problem. It's the single mom. It's the homeowner, homesteader on South Street. It's the veteran on a fixed income on South Street. Those are the ones that you're about to get in the pocket of. They ain't got it. They don't have an extra latte to stop going out to get once a week. It's not there. There are a lot of things in life, like saying Charlie Kirk is evil, that are just wrong to go do. They're legal, but they're wrong to go do. Special assessment districts, legal, wrong.
Thank you. Is there any further public comment? Thank you. I will close the podium and we will move on to Roman numeral 5, the consent agenda. Are there any questions, comments, additions, subtractions for the consent agenda from staff or council? Councilman Flynn.
Just a quick question. I noticed a lot of the consent agenda items include parades, the fair parade, the high school parade, lighted parade. Have we decided, I guess, that we are waiving the parade fees then? Have we come to that conclusion on all of these? I know that Councilman Soha has talked about this quite a bit. I'm just curious as to what we have ended up deciding.
Thank you. Manager Mackey, Mr. Blake, either of you want to respond to that? I believe I can, but the county fair parade has the veterans exemption, which is 100% for all, they're just paying a permit fee.
They're not paying nothing.
Oh, not even the permit fee,
Correct.
okay.
So on that one too, last year at council, we forgave that and for all costs for the fair because it was renamed the Veterans Day Parade. The county, the high school parade, that is Reading House with Chief Hetner in his office. That is no cost. That was waived as well for that event.
And the lighter parade?
The light parade, it was it's only $275. So we paid half of the permitting cost.
Okay.
The labor was waived with half of the permitting cost.
And the homecoming parade is not, there's no road closures because it's rolling, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Councilman Bentley?
So, are there costs associated with these parades for us?
So the fair parade, absolutely, we need $6,000 to $8,000 that we have in there. Not just the fair parade, but the fair itself. You know, we have costs associated with that for putting up more parking through the town. Our picnic tables, our portable stop signs, they stay there all week. So for the DPS staff, we have quite a bit into this.
And it's waived
because they put a veterans label on the whole thing?
Yeah, it was brought through this council last year, as the parade is named traditionally the Veterans Day Parade. So exempt, from the, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but our statute, Veterans Day, and those facilities can be waived, by council. without cost.
It's not Veterans Day though.
Councilman Bennett?
Yes.
Just a point of order. Monday is traditionally Veterans Day at the fair. Veterans get in free, they have a Veterans Day program. So it's not Veterans Day like we celebrate in November, but for the last many years, Monday at Fair Week has been Veterans Day. And so that's where they get the Veterans Day for that program.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn. How long have they been paying? Zero? Is the number zero?
Correct. This year is 0, last year was 0 as well, and the year before, was, I believe, I looked back at my stuff, I think it's $20 per fee.
The $68,000, does that include the all hands on deck police officers?
No, that is just DPS staff.
I would suggest we need to re-examine this.
We've examined it several times. I shared that opinion that I didn't think the cost should be 0 because it's attached to an event that makes money, but I think with the current council, we are pretty much set. I think we voted on it a few times, but we can always re-examine. Councilman Flynn?
And I think, Councilman Bentley, that 68,000 is not just the parade, but like, for example, if you go up Elm Hill and Budlong, they have to block off one side for parking, and there's a couple other places, I think maybe Charles Street, they do that. So all of those are combined into that figure, not just the parade.
Correct. And if I may, if it gets looked at again, we have looked at the parade for multiple years. Maybe look at the costs associated with the fair itself instead of the parade. That is week-long, those are activities that they are making truly money on a daily basis. So if we move forward, that's where I would recommend.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we talked about it several times. It's tough, right? We get a great benefit that the whole county and surrounding counties comes to us, spends money here, uses our city. On the other hand, there is a public burden for that. So, yeah, I'm fine discussing it again, but I think we've thoroughly run this one around, yes. Okay, anything else on the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Motion to accept the consent agenda from Councilman Flynn, seconded by Councilman Soha. Any further discussion? Katie, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Councilman Bruns,
Yes.
Flynn,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Stuchel,
Yes.
Wolfram,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino,
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley.
Yes.
7-0, it's approved.
Thank you very much. We will move on to Roman numeral 6, communications and petitions. Letter A is the library's annual report. So we just had one of these a few months ago, but we moved up the timeline so that it would be a reflection of the year, the fiscal year that actually just concluded. So our director here, Rebecca, is here to present. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good evening, Council and Mayor Pro Tem. As Josh just mentioned, we moved our stuff, so while we were here a couple of months ago explaining everything that we've been up to, yeah, we thought it would be better to update things that are more recent in time than over a year, or what feels like over a year ago. So, not a whole lot has changed in terms of like all of our administrative information, so pretty much the same staffing, same board exists. So I'm just gonna move past that. The first part of it is talking about how many active cards that we have. So for context, our total legal population, including the city as well as our 2 contracted areas, which is Hillsdale and Jefferson Township, we actually cover over 11,000 total people, but currently we only have 1,145 current active cards. One thing I do want to point out though is that If you're looking at the report and you see the circles, there's, for example, Hillsdale City, you'll see it says Hillsdale City, the next number says 732, and the next in the middle is 230. So the second number, for example, 732 is how many active card holders we have. The numbers in the middle is how many we have added in the year. So compared to last year, we are pretty similar with how many total users, but we actually did increase for each of them just a tiny bit. So that was a great positive to see. We also have people who optionally choose to come to our library and purchase cards as a subscription, in addition to where their free library would be at. So we, right now we charge $40 for an annual card, which includes checking out books and everything else the library has to offer. I do want to note that we have been in discussion with Hillsdale Township to figure out a way to continue our contract with them. We have had some people explaining or expressing that they find the contract to be not up to date. I can't think of the right word I would say, but we hope to figure out a way to continue that contract with them, because we know we have a lot of people in the Hillsdale Township that appreciate coming to our library. Next is just about how many things we circulate in a total year. So we both have physical things that you come into the library and check out, as well as things that you would listen to on your phone or tablet, anything like that. It seems to be that roughly that number stays the same, always around in the 45, 46, 47,000 amount of things that people have circulated and read in some way or another. Which is crazy to think that such a high number in just a year. But it is great. It's great to see that so many people utilize the library, read as much as they do, as well as all the other things that you can come into the library and get help with. Something to note, when it talks about loaning in and loaning things out, we do a lot of partnerships, but a lot of work with getting things to other libraries all across the state. So. And things coming to us as well, all the way from like Iron Mountain in the UP. So we do a lot of stuff with other libraries throughout the state, which is very helpful for our patrons because our library can't house everything, unfortunately. Moving on, our collections. So we have about a little over, or close to 46,000 physical books, but also roughly a little over 3,000 other audio, DVD, that sort of stuff. We don't typically tend to purchase any of those things, especially DVDs, because it tends to be a bit of a dying format with streaming. However, we recently, or over the last fiscal year, got rid of charging $1 for our DVDs, which has actually improved how much people tend to be watching, or how much circulation we've got. So there's been a lot of updates I have been trying to make in order to make people interested in, or to kind of reduce some of the barriers that I guess were in place in previous. And it, like I said, has been definitely a positive impact. In terms of miscellaneous statistics, so we've had over 35,000 people who've come to visit our library in the span of just 1 year. It definitely helps when we have elections at the library. We've had special meetings, just other events that people have utilized the library for, which is also, in a way, great to have those things there, just so more people in the community can familiarize themselves with the library, and just see our facilities, and hopefully try and get more people in that way as well. I don't know how much I need to go into the weeds with our financial data, but essentially most of our income comes from local taxes and penal funds, which is all of the civil infractions from the county that get divvied up between all of the libraries within the county. And then we also receive money from trusts and donations that typically with our trusts they disperse normally about once a year. And then of course we get donations from people who feel that they want to help improve the library additionally, in addition to their taxes and stuff like that. So we are super thankful for that, which is also something else I should mention. We've been getting donations to, I guess, sort of continue updating the library. I don't want to say modernizing it because the aesthetic of the library is very, not vintage, but it just has a very, very beautiful aesthetic to it. And there are definitely some things that are more than 20 years old that I have appreciated getting to update and make things more, I guess, more eye appealing to draw more people to, like, our books, our information. And then our biggest expenditures are over every single year typically tends to be our wages and benefits, our collections, and just the things to keep the library open. Over this past year, you saw me a couple of months ago asking for an approval for our carpet, which we recently updated. It looks phenomenal. If you had seen the carpet a couple of months ago, it was truly horrendous, but now it is just a great improvement. You'll probably be seeing me again about that too in the next couple of months, hopefully, to fix the rest of our carpets throughout the library. And then lastly, to talk about our programming, we have definitely been trying to get more programming to appeal to people beyond just our normal things for little kids. So we've been working on things for teens, even though it doesn't seem like it sometimes, but we definitely have so many things going on that many kids come to, as well as adults. But it is a great way for all of the families with older kids, younger kids to interact with each other, and it's great to see all of the connections they make. Over the summer we had multiple people set up play dates and all that sort of stuff. So it's great. It's just very heartwarming to see that sort of stuff as well. And then in this one as well, I have the 2024 summer reading program. I wish that I had also put in here the 25 summer reading program, which just ended in July. That essentially our summer reading program the previous year was called Adventure Begins at Your Library. We had a great time with kids who thought it was fun to travel the world with reading. This previous theme that we had that just finished up in 2025, that one was called Color Our World. And if you hadn't seen, we also had a beautiful mural painted in our library to kind of go with the theme, but obviously we're going to keep that up because if you haven't seen it, it's insanely amazing, and who would ever want to cover that up. So I do want to give a great thanks to Chloe Stewart. She works at the library. She spent a lot of time after hours painting that for us, and again, making the library just more colorful, more inviting, all of that good stuff. But I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time because I know we have other stuff to talk about. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll add that the overall financial position of the library is incredible. About 3 years of operating expenses on hand. One thing we're doing is trying to improve the children's section and hiring someone to help with that, hopefully, which is an item for a few minutes from now. Anything? Yes, Councilman Suchel.
I want to temper this, that, the library is very important for family-friendly Hillsdale. It's crucial. But in your next report, is it possible to get a comparison to other libraries that are our size to see where we're gauging with the norm? I mean, I'm a manufacturing guy. The one number that kind of pops out at me, going to your point here, is your wage and benefits versus your overall. And you're at 57%. In manufacturing, those are red flags that we're not efficient enough. So, okay, so I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We will add that to the agenda. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, all set? Any council discussion? Okay, very good. We will move on to letter B. 2025 Special Assessment Installment Report. Is this Mr. Merritt? Oh, it's okay.
Yes,
You
it
can
is
take
the city treasurer's, and as he put together kind of a summary of it. This basically is just a requirement of that he has to present a report of all special
So,
That's just, excuse me, that's just informational, correct?
That's correct.
And then, is there a way, is it necessary to publish, I mean, I understand it's necessary to publish, but is it necessary to publish all the names and addresses, or could that be redacted in the future? My thoughts on that, the reason I ask is if somebody wants the information, then they can FOIA it, but
Absolutely. I'll have to check in BSNA if the report can be set up so it doesn't print names. I'm not sure if that's an option or not. It may be, we may be able to print just the parcel number.
if you could, appreciate that.
Yeah.
so am I reading it correctly? This must have just gone out. Doesn't look like any payments have been received for this year. Is that right?
These are only the ones that were not paid by August 31st.
Oh, this isn't a complete list. I
Right.
see.
These are only the ones that will be added to the winter tax fund.
Great, thank you. Anything else from council? Okay, we will move on to letter C, staffing update. Mr. Mackey, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So just to kind of, I want to update council and the public on kind of our staffing situation as we did go, or have gone through a few critical, what I would call critical staff members in the last several months, and subsequently with some line level employees that followed shortly thereafter. Some of the changes that we've done to make sure that the city operations are remaining, for critical operations are remaining at the forefront would be, we did move Michelle Lauren out of the Parks and Rec Department, or the Recreation primarily, to the DPS Department. She's still handling the parks stuff, the leases and whatnot. That was went with her, like the boat docks, the pavilions and those things. She had taken with her, but Jason had been operating without administrative support for many months. And given the importance of that department, Michelle Lauren had expressed interest in a change position, and so we took her up on that, and I think she's doing very well for Jason out there. As far as the recreation side, we're going to work on that over the winter with Michelle, or later this fall to winter, on how we proceed next spring with baseball and softball and those items for next year. With the BPU, on the BPU side of things, you know, we're down an electric superintendent and a wastewater superintendent, water superintendent. We had tried for several months to replace the wastewater superintendent with no success in not even receiving one application. That actually returned a call. We received one, we called them for an interview, and they never called us back. So that being said, we do have an internal candidate that is one certification away from having both certifications for water and wastewater. That individual is testing later this fall. I think it's end of October, November. So we're hopeful that he can pass that test. So I've been working with him on the administrative side to hopefully get him in a position where he can take over that role. And if you remember, we are currently contracting with Jeff Geyer, who had left, for him to hang his license, because we have to have that license per the state of Michigan. So he's hanging his wastewater license at the plant. Our internal candidate is working underneath him and learning both that side from him as well as the administrative side from me. On the electric superintendent side, that is something that will take a number of months to work through. And why I say that is because It's a very specialized position. Other cities in the area in our region have gone over a year and a half trying to fill that particular position within their department. That being said, being a very shallow organization, we don't have someone to backfill that position like we did in the water and sewer side, minus the license. So I am doing a lot of that detail work, the reports, the applications, the power cost adjustments, all those things which go on the electric side and the administrative side, I am handling because we do not have anyone else to do it at this particular time. I'm working with current staff, the foreman, the finance department to accomplish that. So it's not me solely, but when it gets down to the nuts and bolts of things, I have to sit down and do it myself. That being said, as you see in here, I talk about Sam Fry and kind of promoting him to assistant city manager on this side of things to help alleviate the burden on the general fund side, as well. And he continues to do his economic development role and is also helping in the planning and zoning administrative role, which is vacant with Alan Beaker retiring. We are currently interviewing candidates for the planning and zoning role, but that will take some time to get whomever is selected if we find a viable candidate trained and up to speed. So Sam is helping with that. And as I say in here, what I'm doing is look from a salary standpoint is looking at where I'm spending my time, which is the majority of it is at the BPU. Sam's increase for taking on these additional roles is coming out of the city manager's role. I am taking more of my pay out of the BPU side. So this is actually a budget neutral or actually a better scenario for the general fund itself. And additionally, just want to point out that we had, when I say additional staff we had lost 2 of 4 water department staff that had left within weeks of Jeff Geyer leaving. And then we also lost some DPS staff. So we were able to fill in the last few weeks the 2 water department staff, which was great, and we're working on the DPS staff currently. Also, as I mentioned, on the second page, we were able to hire a city engineer with some very good experience and ties to the area, so we're very hopeful that this will be a great replacement for Kristen Bauer. He's starting next Monday, and his name, as I put in there, is Rob Stuyvesant. He's been an engineer for many years and graduated from Michigan Tech, which is a very highly touted engineering school. So he'll start next week. So we're excited for that, and he'll be jumping into these projects we talk about, as well as other projects with Arch Street and whatnot. And then lastly, we have made the changes on the airport manager side with Travis Stapleton taking over as airport manager, and then going from full-time and a part-time staff member at the airport to two part-time staff members in an effort to save additional revenue out there. But that seems to be going well, and Travis is assuming those roles and looking at ways to make the airport more financially viable. I think that's the gist of my report here today. Hopefully we'll have more to report in the weeks to come, but I think this will get us to our operations in a sound place moving forward over the next several months.
Great, thank you very much. So, did you lose your deputy clerk then?
Yes.
Okay, all right. No hope of filling that at this point?
That is one of the positions that we're looking at finance roles.
Okay.
Because we also have on the financial side, Peter Merritt as treasurer is part-time as well. So some of our long-term plans are maybe looking at a full-time person that could take on more roles within the accounting and finance department, but we do know they have to be trained, and we've looked for them, and they're awful hard to find. The deputy clerk, we have the same thing with the BPU administrative staff, so we're cautiously backfilling those, so we're not just taking any more.
Okay, great, thank you. Any questions or comments from council or staff? Okay, thank you for the update. We will move on to letter D, Comcast letter. There will no longer be HBO Family, Movie Max, Outer Max, or Thriller Max. Sorry if you watch those channels. Letter E was the commission, we removed that item, that was Ingalls. The only thing I could think of from the county commission meeting is that they chose not to extend the lease of the courthouse annex, so they have to be out by the end of October 2028. So we are not getting any road diet money. We have nothing under Roman numeral 7, nothing under Roman numeral 8, CL Red's update and Oprah discussion. Yeah, sorry, Councilman Flynn.
Where are we going to put the resolution of support for the Hillsdale Rail Yard?
I apologize for that. That should be letter F under new business.
Okay.
Yep, sorry about that. Thank you for the reminder. I don't think I said where that should go. Okay, so Roman numeral 8, old business, CL Red's update and Oprah discussion, and we have Brent and Nick here to give an update. I think, did everyone go except Morrissey, who wasn't here? So we've all spoken today, I believe. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Thank you for letting me be here today, and with Nick Fox as well, and he'll come up in just a second. So I mean this when I say this. No one wants this hotel finished more and open more than myself, our company, and our owners. To that end, we've remained present and committed to this project through every challenge. We've consistently met every obstacle and with determination and perseverance. Before I discuss the Oprah, I do want Nick to provide an update on the construction for the record and for those who didn't attend today. As I do that, I'm going to move so Nick can do it.
Good evening. So yes, we are working, we have been working, we will continue to work until this thing is finished, and I'm sleeping in that third floor corner room, overlooking the City Hall. We have had challenges that we have overcome. We've got great staff right now, we've got good subcontractors, we've got a great new local plumber that has come in and really jumped into it. Right now we are on just the tipping point of starting all of the finishes. We have drywall is going to be starting at the end of this week, and next week we are waiting for one crucial in-wall mechanical and plumbing inspection that will basically start that whole process of getting the rest of the drywall in, and then that'll move right into all of the finishes. As I've said before, we have all materials, all equipment, all down to the nightstands and mattresses have all been purchased and sitting in warehouses, so we are ready to go. And again, we're in a good place right now, and we're gonna not stop.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, so to talk more specifically about the Oprah, the extension, the current timeline for the Oprah construction completion addendum within the current agreement is set for September 30th of this year. And so before I talk about specifically extending it again, I just want to kind of remind the council about why we value the Oprah and what it means, why it was created. So, you know, it remains as a vital tool that not only demonstrates the local support, but will have a real and positive impact both now during construction and during the early years of operation. Although we anticipated opening sooner and to take the fuller advantage of the tax abatement for 12 years, we do face a continual countdown of the remaining years without actualizing the full abatement. Once opened, the remainder of the abatement will be vital to provide needed relief from a massive tax increase generated from the total redevelopment of the Kiefer from an obsolete and dangerous property facing demolition into an upscale boutique hotel that will welcome thousands into the city. As an economic development tool, the Oprah is meant to help developers just like us take on higher risk properties that require substantially more work to redevelop them and get them open again. That's the obsolete portion of the Oprah. This was established to promote and aid in the redevelopment of these properties rather than have them deteriorate, become a public safety threat, and or get demolished either by the city or just crumble right into the street. The Oprah provides support by minimizing our operating inefficiency during the first several operating years while we stabilize as a business to help offset the abnormal cost that it takes to redevelop an obsolete building. And again, obsolete buildings doesn't have any modern utilities and life safety. It has no HVAC, no bathrooms. It becomes a public nuisance for vandalism as well as, again, deterioration. So without amending the completion date within the Oprah agreement, it opens up the possibility for the state to end the abatement. And this will, again, impact us immediately, and it will only compound after completion. As a reminder, we are still paying taxes on the property, which does increase annually as different values change on the parts that aren't frozen on the tax. So the early years are crucial for a long and successful run of this hotel. Supporting the abatement extension helps us ensure that this long period of anxiety doesn't go wasted. The project will not come to a faster completion or a miraculous resolution if the abatement ends. It will only cause greater financial stress on the Kiefer during construction now and especially after completion, again in that vital time frame to help us offset the costs that we have borne by redeveloping an obsolete structure like this. So we're asking to amend to December 31st of 2025. This ties in with our other existing financial commitments. It provides us to the end of the quarter. As Nick has talked about through our walkthrough today, we're on a good schedule now, but this provides us just to the end of the quarter, to the end of the year. For generations to come, the Kiefer will be a gathering place for locals and for visitors with a continued commitment as evidence that it should open. Between St. Joe's, Ethan's, and Dante's, you can feel there's a real transformation happening in downtown. A resurgence in nightlife for family and friends. All of this is anticipating the opening of the Kiefer, which will be at the heart of it all. And it will be worth the wait, but it still needs every ounce of support from you on the council to get us through it while we continue to fight in the trenches. So with that, we'll open up to questions, or if you need Nick to go into more detail, please let us know.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from council? Councilman Flynn.
Well, I think the elephant in the room that everybody wants to know is, do you have an opening date? That seems to change as well. Do you have a more idea when we'll be open?
I have been working on the substantial completion and the temporary certificate of occupancy dates. The actual opening, that would be dependent on the management company after I turn it over to them and their training schedule. I'm working off of the actual building, which we're looking at end of November, beginning of December for those approvals. I still have to then finish the project as far as bringing in all the furniture and all the equipment, and then the management company has to start their training as well, because that substantial completion TCO, that is basically a stock and train permission for the staff to come in and start actually getting it set up to be an operable hotel. So I'm turning it over to them end of November, beginning of December. Then by the time that opens, it would most likely be the end of December.
Thank you.
But I can't speak for them on their schedule.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn. Thank you. Councilman Wolf. Yes.
I would strongly support that we extend the Oprah agreement. I mean, if you sort of remember, there was, from the very beginning, there was COVID, and so they couldn't get the materials in, and then I think when they looked at there was water in the basement, and somehow then they found out that the walls weren't solid, and so they had to spend all this money making the walls solid. They've worked on this whole time, and making a 34-room boutique hotel downtown, I think is going to really add to the value of the different buildings around downtown. So improve the, actually, will probably improve the values, the properties, and therefore bring in more tax revenue for the city. So I strongly would support extending the OPRA.
Thank you, Councilman Wolfram. Yes, Mr. Mackey.
Just want to make one point here. If council does decide that they want to extend the Oprah, it would be best if we planned on doing that at our next meeting, because we need an amended application so we can prepare the resolution for council to adopt. But I just wanted to point that out to you as far as semantics.
Okay, very good.
Sorry.
The state's not gonna do anything in a week?
No.
Okay. Councilman Bentley?
Okay, so we're not voting today. And just to be clear, the request is through the year, through the end of the year.
December 31st.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it would be the 29th meeting?
Yeah.
October 6th, we don't have another meeting. Do you feel that?
Does that impact the fact that the current stops at September 30th?
It shouldn't. Only the state can take action after the date passes, I believe.
Yes, and it actually goes, the state does not do anything to the end of October, so we're good.
Okay. Councilman Flynn?
So then, for semantics, do we need to then make a motion to table this until our next meeting? Or do we just wait for the staff to do the amended
Tom,
resolution?
recommendation on this?
It'll be a new item or new resolution, right?
Yes, and because the way it shows up here is as an update on discussion on your agenda.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn, for that clarification. Councilman Stuchel?
Yeah, I just want to make a general comment. I made a call today to Ray Taylor, who's the Hillsdale County Building Inspector, who's been pretty much on this project, and just tried to get a unbiased opinion. And he said that working with CL and the crew has been very cooperative. He said there's the challenges like Bob meant with COVID and all these other things, but also a change in personnel with general managers has been ongoing. But they've always been very, very cooperative. And he said he's got a good working relationship with the architect because they're still trying to capture the historical value and yet pass local building codes. And Nick pointed out the stairwell today, the guardrail is 4 inches too low. But according to Ray, I talked to him, he said they've got a fix for that. So there's a lot of ongoing thing, but Ray said it will be done. It's just keep going.
Thank you, Councilman Stuchel. Anything else from council or staff on this item? Okay, will we see you in October?
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. We will move on to Roman numeral 9, new business, setting a public hearing for an IFE application at 250 Industrial Drive for Cobra Moto, not motor. Okay, is that Sam here? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. What we have here tonight is simply setting a public hearing. Cobra Moto, they did apply for an industrial facilities tax exemption certificate for their new expansion project, which is located at 250 Industrial Drive. Whenever we receive an IFE, it goes to the city, the application goes to the city first. Council is then required to, by resolution, approve or disapprove it within 60 days, but there has to be a public hearing first. So what staff is recommending tonight is that we set a public hearing for October 6th during our regular meeting, and then you direct us to notify all the affecting taxing jurisdictions, and we'll get the public notices out, and then we will be able to have a hearing, and council can discuss that at the meeting in October.
Okay, great, thank you. Any comments or questions from council? Councilman Flynn?
I've been approached by a couple of different business owners and some folks with Cobra Moto. I think it's going to be Cobra Aero, I think, as well. Their sister company, yes.
Correct, they have two companies, Cobra Moto LLC is the applicant.
Right, but this is going to be a win-win for everybody. From what I understand, if the word gets out, they're only gonna add like 15 jobs, with this plan. But this is going to be a high-tech operation and high-tech employees that are gonna be making some pretty substantial pay, because again, this is a very high-tech operation, and they chose to stay in Hillsdale. I mean, Cobra Moto, for those of you who don't know, make the little teeny tiny motorcycles for racing and stuff, and they're sold all over the world. So, may not use them here, but it's a very popular motorcycle that is used all over. And from what I've been told by different people, is that these 15 jobs are going to be high-tech, high-pay, and they're going to be right here in Hillsdale. So this might be, again, being optimistic, you know, that one business that says, hey, we like to invest in Hillsdale, we like it here, let's bring some high-tech stuff here, and then other high-tech businesses might go, well, you know, if Cobra Moto, Cobra Aero likes Hillsdale, there must be a reason they're there, and they start investigating, and maybe we bring a few more our way. So when it does come down the pike, I would highly recommend that we approve this, because this is going to be a win-win for everybody.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn. A few questions I have. This is an expansion. They're currently a block over. They're staying in that building as well.
Yeah, so they own the building that's immediately behind this on Duran Street. So they bought the building next door to allow them to expand their campus.
Okay. The 5 years, is that the total length of the Oprah or the completion date?
So 5 years is how long the project is going to take. They are seeking a 12-year abatement.
Okay. Let's see. I think that's all I had. Just kind of clarifications at this stage of the process. Yes, Councilman Soha.
And the abatement freezes taxes at the current rate, correct?
So because this is a new facility, they're going to get a 50% reduction on the improvements that they're making to the facility. So it's not a tax freeze like an Oprah, but it is a tax reduction.
So upon the improvements, their
For the
taxes
value added.
will increase based on the value, but just with the reduction.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, the IFEs are better law. I did want to ask, how long have they owned this property?
They just purchased it this summer, very recently. Yeah.
Is this the Corquail property?
No.
No. What's that? 200 industrial? Somewhere around
I
there,
gotta
right?
think now. 221.
221.
Industrial. Yeah.
Okay. And who was in it before?
Well, this building's had several owners recently. I know Hillsdale Terminal owned it for a while.
Okay, that's
And
what I was
think
thinking, yeah.
Metal Tech was in there. I believe they're the most recent owner.
Okay.
So it's changed hands a few times.
Thank you. Anything else from council or staff? Very good. I will entertain a motion to set a public hearing for October 6th at 7 p.m.
Support.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Soha, seconded by Councilman Stuchel to set a public hearing and notify everyone affected. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We will have a public hearing in October. Will Cobra Moto be here?
Yes, we will. We will have representatives from Cobra Moto to provide a little bit of background about their project and talk about their expansion and some of the exciting new contracts and things that they're working on. So, as Bob indicated, they are a rapidly growing company that we were able to recruit actually from down in Ohio, kind of in the early to mid 2000s is when they moved to Hillsdale. It's been a great success for our community, and so I'm sure they're excited to fill in council about it. We had some discussion when our Economic Development Corporation originally reviewed the application. Like Bob said, high-tech, high-paying jobs, so we'll have more information for council in the public hearing.
Okay, great. Sorry to make you come back up. It'd be great to see the building too, if they are open to that, and if council is interested. Let's see, we will move on to new business, letter B, abandoned property for accelerated forfeiture act. Seems like we vote on this 3 times a year. Okay, so just all remember this, it allows the city to declare, well, and the thank you.
Yes. So it is an annual resolution, we have to pass it every year before October 1st. What it does is it allows the Code Enforcement Department to post properties that have been abandoned. So an abandoned means the taxes are not being paid, nobody's paying the utilities on it, nobody's mowing the lawn, nobody's making any effort on the property. So this is not something where we can just go in and take someone's property. These are the ones that nobody wants. It's typically like an estate or something where there's no mortgage, so nobody is taking responsibility for the property.
Thank you. Yeah, this is always a tough one. Makes me skittish, but seeing homes burned down and abandoned in the cities also. Yeah.
So just as an example, one of the properties that we did this with was the old Hillsdale Tool Building down on South Street. When that one was held in a bankruptcy estate for a number of years while it was vacant. There was very little maintenance done on the property while it was vacant. The judge allowed them to just abandon that property and quit doing anything with it. Without us having this, it would have gone a full 3 years before we could foreclose on it for the taxes. This makes it 2 years instead of 3.
And just to clarify, if they come in on this example, February 28th, 2027, and pay their tax bill,
Yeah, then it,
they're in the clear?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion?
So. Support?
Motion on the floor from Councilman Soha to pass the resolution, seconded by Councilman Flynn. Is there any discussion? Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilperson Flynn,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Stuchel,
Yes.
Wolfram,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino,
Yes.
Councilperson Beckley,
Yes.
and Bruns.
Yes.
7-0 is approved.
Thank you very much. We will move on to letter C, Woodville Group Contract Amendment. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. So I'm Karen Lancaster. For our citizens that are watching, I'm with the Woodhill Group. We provide finance director services. We've been with the city for 4 years now. Our contract is up for renewal. We are recommending a reduction of $20,000 of the contract cap from the prior contract because we feel that staff's doing a great job. They've taken over a lot of things that we were previously doing when we started at the city 4 years ago, such as accounts payable, things that I previously talked to the council about. To give the council some reference, in the 24-25 fiscal year, the city spent about $75,000 for me to come out, be finance director, do audit, do budget. The year before was $96,000. So that's a testament to Tina Bumpus, who's the assistant finance director. She's learning and doing more and more each year. We only charge for what we actually bill, so the $100,000 cap is a maximum. I don't anticipate coming anywhere near that unless we have a change in staff and something happens where more financial help is needed.
Okay, great, thank you. So it was over budgeted 20, wait, what did you say, 75?
So we
Last
had
year?
120 in the last contract and we spent 75.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so it was over budgeted 50, okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Yes, Councilman Flynn?
Do I read this correctly that we're just extending this for 1 year?
Yes, we have a 1 year at a time clause. We can extend it if Dave, like say we don't get to council right at the right time, Dave can email me in writing and say we wish to go month to month until we can get it back to council.
So we can't do like a 5-year or 3 year?
You can do as many years as you want to. Yeah, you can do as many years as you want to.
Okay.
There is, just so for the council to know, if council were to change direction and wanna hire a finance director that was an employee, there's a clause in here that you can terminate at any time. So even if we did have a 3-year contract, you can terminate. Okay?
Thank you. Anything else from council or staff?
Would it behoove us, Dave, to do a 3-year contract, or are there issues involved with that I'm not thinking of?
There really isn't any issues. I think we've had great success with what Hill Group and Karen. Prior to bringing them on, we did actively look for a public finance director, and that is another one of those areas within municipal government that is very tough to find folks. In fact, I know many of the cities that in the city managers that Karen also, or her group also works with, and that Marshall was one of them, and others, Charlotte, that find themselves in a position where they need some time in order to get the right person. Again, we haven't had luck on the front end, and we've been very successful at utilizing Karen's services to train staff to take on additional roles. I think 1 year is fine to answer your question a long way, but maybe next year. But I mentioned this at the finance department earlier on tonight that we know with Peter Merritt and as treasurer that his time is probably within the next couple of years that he will fully retire and move on. So we're looking at different options to make a position more attractive for someone to come here on a full-time basis. And Karen has worked with many of the communities that have done the same thing to kind of get the right person and to train them to make sure that they're on solid ground. So.
Thank you very much. Councilman Bentley.
Councilman Flynn, I can think of at least one reason to just do it a year. Because the contract's with the Woodhill Group, and if she weren't with Woodhill Group, we might reconsider, but how long have you been doing our stuff?
For 4 years.
Yeah, so you got the institutional memory, and so if we lost her, we might be less interested in.
That's a good point.
So, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, you were very helpful during the budget process. Thank you again for that. Anything else from council?
Then I would make a motion that we approve the Woodhill Group contract and authorize the city manager to sign the document on behalf of the city for 1 year.
Support. Motion on the floor from Councilman Flynn, seconded by Councilman Soha. Could I get a roll call vote, please? Oh, sorry. Any further discussion? Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Councilmember Soha.
Yes.
Stuchel.
Yes.
Wolfram.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley.
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
And Flynn.
Yes.
7-0, it's approved.
Thank you. We will move on to letter D, library budget amendment. Rebecca is still with us. Thank you for waiting it out. We appreciate it.
Nothing else going on. All right, so yeah, let me go back to this. Yeah, so the library board members over the past couple of months have discussed a want to implement a new position to focus on collection development for junior and children's books, so that would be picture books and chapter books. I think the title would be called, I'm blanking on it, Junior Services Librarian, Junior Technical, something like that. I don't have it in front of me anymore, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not on there. I think it is junior services.
I think so too. It is, okay.
Oh, yes, you're right.
So, going back to something that Councilperson Stuchel had actually mentioned, luckily we do, public libraries throughout the state of Michigan, we're required to do annual reporting, and every library has access to see what other libraries have going on. So luckily in your request for that, it is very easy for me to be able to offer that. And so I guess to sort of start to, preface everything, The position, which would be roughly, as our board has submitted it to come here, roughly 20 hours a week for $20 an hour. So I think everything involved with wages and benefits, that would be around $25,000. I don't know the particular number with all of the paid time off. I don't have the particular from our HR department, but I know the ballpark was somewhere around $24,000 or $25,000. And so for context, in our budget right now, for 7 people, including myself, our wages total $132,000, so this would increase it to roughly around $155,000. Like I said, we currently employ 7 people, including myself. So I don't know that this is relevant to what I was just about to say, but essentially, how do I say this? I have this note written down and I don't have it really well written. But anyways, essentially right now we have 7 people who work here, and that is roughly 1 person for every active card member we have in the city before we have our contracted areas in. So I will say, again, going back to our public libraries and all of the reporting data, is we are somewhat on par with other libraries that are roughly our size. So also for extra context, in the state of Michigan at least, they go by class sizes, but something that makes us extra unique is that we're a municipal library. There's multiple different setups to libraries. You can be a public or a district library, a county-wide system. So I can say that based on other libraries that are at least similar in population but might not be municipal libraries, like I would say we're fairly on par with what the regular is. And like I said, it just kind of depends on the particulars of each library. We're, like I said, pretty much on par. So I don't know if there's any questions or anything, but that's the context of it all, I guess.
Councilman Stuchel.
I mean, a few years ago, as soon as you came on council, we were having some issues with the library and children's books, correct?
Right.
What changed?
Since then?
Well, yeah.
Nothing really, except that we stopped doing the book displays. Yeah, this is the first substantive change, I think.
Well, I guess, I know we had an issue, and I thought we went in and corrected with, make sure we have the right books for the right children.
Right.
Type of thing. So we did that, right? That's not an issue anymore.
Just by changing the director, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just listened to Mr. Mackey going on about these highly technical jobs we have in the city. I know the budgets are different, I'm not getting there, but, we have, Mr. Mackey's making major changes to maximize his resources where he can. And I'm just asking, do we need to spend another $20,000, the library? Or is this a need or a want? Is it something we need to have or something that would be nice to have? And I guess my question is it something that you could get maybe a couple volunteers to help with, or just spread this work around a little bit between 7 people? When I look at what Mr. Mackey's doing at a much higher technical level, then we come down to this, it's way out of balance in my head.
Yeah, I think the response would be that we have been $30,000 to $40,000 under budget, just with what we're taking in every year for the past, since I've been on the library board, so almost 4 years. We have almost $1 million in savings, and the main thing is that our program coordinator is doing basically 6 events a week, right? 6 library, Monday through Saturday, there's something at the library. So she's focused on that. So this is more front desk help, more attention to the collections development, and then hopefully something to make the library, particularly the children's area, a little more pleasing, a little more beautiful.
I don't disagree with that, but I mean, it sounds like because we have the money, we can spend it. I'm asking, do we have the need the resource? I mean, can we maximize the resource you have? We don't need to spend money just because we have it.
That's right.
Are we maximizing our resources to the best we can? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone who is currently there is working to the maximum, and there's been the suggestion that they need more help. So you feel free to comment.
You go right ahead.
Councilman Bentley.
It's coming out of the library funds though?
Right.
$1 million, so.
Yeah, and even with this, we are still saving, we don't know exactly, but about $20,000 this year we will still save after adding this position. I tended to agree with you actually. When this came up, I said, well, why not just save $40,000 a year if things seem to be going well here, and then, 20 years from now we'll have $3 million in cash sitting in the library and we can reduce the tax burden. So I totally understand that. I think the response on the board was we have an obligation to spend this to make the children's area beautiful, welcoming, all those things. But yes, I definitely understand that. Councilman Flynn.
Is this something that, and I don't want to push down the road, but is this something that we could table until next spring when the budget process comes around and we sit down and discuss, the library's budget, and we can work in, a person like that. In the meantime, have those 7 employees just kind of take a little bit of this on their shoulders and do it between now and then?
Well, I would say we do technically, there is somebody who already, and I guess I don't know what you would have meant by the 7 people who work here to, I guess, take it on, but there is somebody who does purchase books already, so it's not anything that needs to be delegated, I guess, unless you refer, yeah, all of us, we all do contribute to working at the front desk, so I guess in that way, yes, we all carry that burden, but yeah, aside from that, unless I'm not understanding what you're referring to.
Well, you had mentioned, and Mayor Pro Tem Palladino had mentioned as well, that you need an extra person, like this says, to work in the children's library. I was just thinking that if we table this and actually put it in as part of next year's budget, when we talk about it next spring, that between now and then, could your current staff do what you're asking for tonight? Are they already doing it?
Yes, the current staff is already doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So would it hurt the library between now and next May to continue doing what you're doing?
I would look,
I don't think so.
No, yeah.
No, it's an effort at improvement.
Right.
It's just that we're sitting on a lot of money, and the program coordinator has been doing this in addition to managing all of the events. Councilman Bentley?
So, the director and the board are unanimous that this position would be helpful, and I guess I'm not quite sure what the hesitancy is. Don't we want to make our library better? We are sitting on $1 million. I don't know why we're waiting, or I don't know what this is about. Sounds fine to me, if that's what she wants.
Councilman Stuchel?
Like I said, I'm an old manufacturing guy. My whole psyche is efficiencies and reduce where you can, run lean where you can. And this sounds like a nice want, but not necessarily need. It's not gonna hurt the library, and Mr. Flynn's point, we can bring this up, and maybe you throw the whole 40,000 at that time. But to me, I just hear, this would be nice to have. Just because we have money doesn't mean we spend it. I've got extra money too, I don't go and spend it. So anyway, I'm just, like I said, I'm manufacturing, and efficiency is what it's all about for me.
Thank you. Councilman Bentley?
It seems to me we're feeling overworked. The city manager certainly, and Jason, and they're all overworked because we lost all these positions. But there's no way that the library can help. It's a family. I don't know. I'm not accusing you. I'm not even arguing. I'm just saying they made a proposal. I don't know. Let's just vote on it, I guess.
Okay, very good. Is that a motion?
I so move.
Approve. approve the amendment? Okay, motion to approve the amendment?
Second.
Motion from Councilman Bentley, seconded by Councilman Bruns. Katie, could I have a roll call vote? Oh, sorry, any further discussion? Katie, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Councilmember Stuchel,
No.
Wolfram,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino,
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Flynn,
No.
Soha.
Yes.
5-2, it passes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Unless you want to talk about special assessments with us.
I'm good. I got others.
We will move to new business. Yeah, get home to those. Letter E, proposed 2026 special assessment districts for street projects. So we have South, Willow, and Lake on the docket, and then a decision about Oak and Reading that I think we would all like to be an and rather than an or. Okay, who is presenting on this? Jason, would you like to discuss? Thank you.
All right, a few weeks ago, we presented our city manager Mackey.
Jason.
Thank you. A few weeks ago, City Manager Mackey presented a list of proposed street projects for the next coming years. What we have proposed is a special assessment 26-12 for South Street project limits would go from N99 to Norwood Ave. The second proposal is SAD 2026-13, which will encompass Willow Street from Oak to Logan, and then Lake Street from East Carlton to Willow. About 500 foot of that was already completed last year as part of the BPU CBDG project. So we thought it was nice to kind of finish that project up. The curbs are in good shape. Some stormwater issues down towards Oak Street on that as well. So with those two projects, next year I just want to throw in there is we still have a special assessment for Arch Street that was approved earlier last year. That'll be the 26th project as well. In addition to the two projects that we just talked about, the Small Urban Grant 27 through 29, the grant cycle is coming up in the next actually 3-4 weeks. That's why we need to present and pick a project, either Oak or Reading Ave was our suggestions. If we go reach Small Urban for both, the next one would be 2030, 2031 for the next cycle for Small Urban. With that being said, I ask for council to approve the city engineer, or myself to direct the city engineer on staff to present estimates and drawings to bring back to council in January, and then approve either Oak or Reading Ave for the Small Urban Grant for 27-28 construction season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So the total amount constructed in 2026 will be about a mile then, with Arch being about a third of a mile?
Correct.
Great, okay, thank you. Did I see a hand? Oh, okay, yes. So it is those three projects, okay. Any comments? Yes, Councilman Flynn.
Jason, could you quickly, the South Street project, is that a total redo, curb, gutter, sewer, the whole shebang?
So, it'll probably be more like Linwood was a few years back. I have a feeling that there's a lot of curbs still left underneath that multiple layers of asphalt. It's been overlaid twice over the last 30 years. My thought is we'll peel that asphalt up and hopefully find a lot of good curbs still underneath there. It worked good on Linwood. Linwood, I think we only put in, and don't hold me to this, less than 75 foot of curb on the whole project. If that's the case, that'll save roughly $300,000 right off the top. But again, until we get in it, we just don't know where we're at.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Soha.
Thank you, Mayor. To add to that, is any BPU work on South Street or?
No, that's actually in pretty good shape, but we're hoping that we can actually make it more affordable from a road side of things. And we do know, I guess, some background on why we selected those south and Willow Street and Lake. South, we know, gets a lot of traffic, from from Carlton all the way, to Reading Ave area and Norwood. It's something we've heard about, at least I have heard about since we started working on the roads, being a major thoroughfare. Yes.
Yeah, to the high school and the elementary or high school and
Correct, so yes, so that's why we thought this would have some good impact for one of our main thoroughfares. Willow and Lake, as Jason said, we only have small portions left. We thought this would be a good one to finish those areas up, those two ends up. And one of the gentlemen who owns many properties on those streets has expressed interest in supporting this. And then the Oak and Reading Ave. We know Reading Ave is in really poor shape, but Oak as well. And we, to some degree, feel that Oak probably gets a little more local traffic, where Reading, even though it's a major street, a lot of it is like South Howell and Hillsdale. People are coming into town or leaving town that came to work from out of town. So we just felt that maybe, since we had to pick one or the other, we could pick one as the immediate and then look to the other one for the next one down the road. And that's because we received grant funding for that major street component. So Oak we felt was more local traffic, and Reading we felt was more traffic that left town.
absolutely. And
Thank you.
the smaller urban will help take, because out of the two projects, Oak Street will be far more than Reading Ave. The smaller will help get that down. Reading Ave can be probably crushing shape.
Yeah, it's really not that bad until you get sort of right at the edge of town and it becomes a minefield. What are the ratings on each of those?
So Arch Ave is a 2, Galloway is a 2, Willow Lake's a 1. I'm sorry, Willow's a 1, Lake's a 3, South is a 1, Reading Ave is a 2, Industrial is a 1, Oak Street is a 2, 1, 3, depending on the block.
Arch Avenue is a 2. Really?
So when it gets to
No,
over
it doesn't
20,
seem that bad.
yeah, so when it gets over 25% alligator, you have structural issues under the road. So that puts it in the full reconstruct category.
Okay, so
And that's because, the heavy trucks from all these years. And that's the big thing up there is those were picked too because of the eligibility for grants.
right.
The economic grants, they had to have so much commercial traffic to be there. We've tried on Wolcott, we tried on Manning, East Carlton, none of them met those economic drivers for that grant. So that's why we picked up there, which they do, as of right now, they do meet those qualifications. But yeah, the excessive load and the shifting of the cargo and trailers, at least that's what I'm getting in my office, why this was appealing to do that. Remember a couple years ago when we did Grand Street, that was the big driver, and that was the cargo was being damaged by ingress and egress through that roadway.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Just want to point out on the Arch Street project, we've finally broken some ice with the federal government, and that process is moving forward. So we're struggling getting through the digital component of the website and actually getting assistance. And finally we've got to the point where someone's helping us and we're making progress. So we're pleased to see that, and that's been in the last week. So.
Great, thank you. Councilman Bruns?
As far as our council vote this evening, and I think I heard you say, Jason, we have 3 weeks to figure this out, specifically Oak and Reading.
Yeah, Oak and Reading, I would need an answer, or we need it, I apologize, by roughly October 11th.
Okay, I would be a lot more comfortable if that went to public services first, to be talked about it, so that I can make an informed decision about that tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I also wonder if we sort of canvass those streets and just see where where are we gonna get the most support from the public, because there doesn't really seem to be an objective answer in terms of road quality. It seems to me that Oak Street is worse, but if they have the same rating, then I guess it is what it is. Oak seems more unpleasant to drive down. But yeah, maybe a committee meeting to look at those, the cost, how much we're getting from special assessments. I do like the idea of sort of mailing something out. I know it's not official until we actually certify the rules, but just gauging public support so that we know if we're gonna move forward with this, we're not gonna hit a roadblock with the public. Yes?
So, just to be clear for council, so the process is, the way it's by ordinance, is these either are brought forward by petition by the residents or the staff brings it forward.
Right.
Council then approves staff to move forward and do the plan, specs, cost. So right now, we don't have cost. So if we go door to door, we don't really have much to tell them because we don't know what the actual cost of the project is until we design it and actually put, numbers on it per se. So unfortunately, it's kind of like we're putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
To some degree, but it's kind of a catch-22.
Right.
You want to know if people support it, yet you can't give them answers until you can do that work.
I understand that, and I mean, it's probably hard to say, is it gonna be less than $5,000? If we went around and said, here's $5,000 over the 15-year period, here's your monthly payment, here's your yearly payment, would you be provisionally in support of this? I understand that, but it does seem appropriate to me just to give like, worst case scenario, here's how much you could pay in addition per month to get this done. Would you support something like that? I could also see the counter argument to that. It could be less than 5,000, so you could be driving people away when they might support it at a lower number. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Councilman Flynn.
People I've talked to over the years is that if you're going to choose one, please choose Reading Avenue. I honestly don't think Oak Street's too terribly bad. And I think, a welcome to Hillsdale, if it was a little smoother, and I understand people are in and out, but I just think it shows our city a little in a better light if you have a decent entrance into town, because right now that's the only bad entrance. I mean, Hillsdale Street's good up by the college, State Street's fine, Bacon Street's fine, Carlton's fine, the other entrances, this one sucks. In and out, and I just think that if you were to choose one of the two, if it's gonna go to public services, I would hope that you would think that an entrance into our town, to make people say, hey, it's not too bad getting in at least, that all of our entrances are at least decent. I think Reading Avenue would be the better choice of the two.
Yeah, no, I understand that argument. Also, State though, I think a lot of people come in from Milnes to State, and then they turn either right or left on Oak to go either downtown or to the college. So, but I understand that argument too. Anything else from council? Yes, Councilman Soha.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Mackey, when you said that the other one would be tabled for, like, if we chose Reading, and then when would Oak come back?
So on the small urban grant, it's basically a 3-year cycle. So if we get this one in 26, 27, the next cycle that we get money for this type of road, one of these type of roads, so major, is in 3 years. So that's why Jason had indicated like 30, 31. So,
I mean, I agree with Councilman Flynn, but to Mayor Pro Tem's point, the people coming to visit the college that come down from Jackson and across State Street, but also, Hillsdale Academy keeps growing, and the academy parents drive up and down that street multiple times a day. And I know when I was doing it, I actually started going up Hillsdale and across Fayette because I just was tired of the bumps. So that's something to consider too. Although I think, just thinking out loud, and to Councilman Brown's point, it'd be nice to think about it for a minute. But I think the entrance to the city, though,
could, unless we wanna stay on this point, Councilman Bentley?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna shift to the Willow and Lake. Remind me how the process works. Is it one signature per property owner or per parcel?
Dave, can you take that one?
I'm gonna give that to Kim. Well,
I believe it was per owner.
That's what I thought too, okay. That's a very odd situation over there. I just did the count on GIS for all these parcels, and that one really stands out. I believe the majority are owned by one owner. My question was, the adjacency part of our policy. Multiple of those, about half of them are connected to another parcel. So, can you remind me how the policy plays out? We had a discussion that if there's an adjacent parcel, it's one payment if the frontage is contiguous. But that seems... No?
No.
Okay.
No, that was only if they had a vacant parcel that was adjacent
Vacant,
and they
okay.
combined it under one parcel for taxes.
Okay, that's right, so we won't run into that
No.
massive problem there. Okay, that was my clarification on Willow and Lake. Yeah, any other comments, Councilman Bentley?
Yeah, so, forgive me, I stepped away, so I missed most of the discussion, so I won't waste your time, but it's going to committee, I guess, why didn't it start at committee? Like, why are we talking about it today?
so the way that ordinance is written, the city staff can bring projects forward. So that's what we're doing here, is starting the process. If council wants it to go to committee, council could decide that here tonight to do that. Otherwise, you could decide to start, to instruct us to do the costs and design work for this, or we could have the discussion, about trying to talk to the residents in these areas up front with just the maximum numbers. So that is really council to decide.
Thank you. Councilman Sullivan?
Mr. Mackey, are either of the Oak or Reading, is there any BP infrastructure work that needs to be done on either of those projects that you're aware of?
Major components I do not, but there could be potential lead service line replacements, and so we would try to do that in advance of the project coming through. But no major water or sewer meetings in those areas.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Stuchel?
I just need to understand what the committee's going to do. We don't have prices, we can't put prices together, we can't design it. So I'm not sure what going to committee is going to do to this. Are they going to bring it back and say A, B, and C? That's just no committee, then we'll vote on it again right back where we started. So what's the objective of going to committee? What are they going to come out with?
What do we have to go off of? The quality of the roads and the attitudes of the residents at this point. And do you have ballpark numbers?
I hate to give you a number without
Right.
knowing. I mean, we have so many variables. New city engineer coming on board versus third-party engineering services. There's just too many unknowns to that. I'd like to add on the small urban. We do have a deadline. I have to present on October 15th to City of Jonesville's Hillsdale County Road Commission, and to pick and vote on. So it's voted on by peers too. That's in our region too. So even though we pick one, it might be voted down as well. So.
Wait, sorry, what is this?
So small urban grant is presented to the Hillsdale County Road Commission because we share funding with its Hillsdale County Road Commission and the City of Jonesville. So this year, 27 will be our year to pick. It's voted on during that meeting on the 15th, I believe I said. 14th.
Okay. Is 9 days enough for you to prepare if a decision is made on October 6th? Okay. Yeah, it's very tough. My gut instinct was oak, just because I thought it was worse to drive on, but I'm not exactly sure. It really does seem to me that citizen input and the attitudes is kind of our best gauge at this point, since the road surfaces are similar quality. Does anyone else on council have a different suggestion?
If I may add one more thing.
Yes, please.
This is my opinion, Oak Street is more pedestrian oriented, college area too. The cross streets, all the residential, and not saying Marine Ave don't have a lot of streets, but this has a lot more ADA upgrades needed as well. So it would probably be a better candidate for the small urban to get that extra funding in. Oh, thank you, sir.
It's a better application.
Better applicant to spend small urban dollars on because of the cost of that project, and it's going to be substantial.
Is it possible that we don't get one of these?
No, well, we should.
We should get one.
Historically, we've got it used to be every 2 years before City of Jonesville became City Incorporated. When they came in, they went to every 3 years.
Okay. Well, that seems to be one piece of data to make a decision based on. Yeah, I don't know. What does council want to do? This is your ward and Councilman Wolfram's, and then Stuchel's and Bruns. Would you like to talk to your neighbors and get a gauge of things, Councilman Flynn?
I would, but I don't know what to tell them.
Right.
So I would like to make a motion that we move ahead and have city staff put together some numbers for us, take the first step in doing these projects. And then once we have those numbers, then we can discuss maybe going to committee or going to neighbors and things of that nature. But the first thing out of their mouth is going to be, well, what's it going to cost? And we can't tell them. So I would like to make a motion that we direct the city engineer pursuant to City Ordinance Article 5, Division 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to prepare plan specifications and cost estimates for the above listed projects.
Okay, so this would be, so we have a motion from Councilman Flynn and a second on item 1.
Yeah,
So
can I
just-
interject here?
Yes.
My suggestion about the committee was related to the last two.
Right.
Because the recommended action from staff here, at least, what's presented to us, is to select one of them to be evaluated, i.e. we have to make the choice tonight, but maybe that's not true, maybe.
You could make it at the first October meeting, and Jason would have enough time. So that's something you could wait on the second component of that and drive it, talk to the neighbors up there, and then come back and we can have this discussion again and decide which one of the two would go first. We wouldn't want to do the full plans and specs on both of them, Councilman Flynn. So it'd be better to at least pick one to move forward with because of the cost.
Well, then I would amend my.
That's what to clarify, were you making a motion for the first
For the
two?
South Street Willow and Lake.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
Yes. No, I was taking one step at a time.
Okay, yes, I like divided motions, so we have clarity, that's good. My only question on this was, Willow Street and Lake are kind of, not through streets, so again, we're gonna get the question, why not Manning? Why not parts of West? Why this area that's basically, it's not a cul-de-sac, but essentially there's no through traffic. Councilman Bentley, before they respond.
I mean, I don't know, the implication or the elephant in the room is this Willow property owner is gonna pay the max SADs and more or less request this? Is this kind of the case? Which is fine with me, I mean.
Yeah, it came from two avenues with the multiple work with BPU over 2 years there. They did almost probably a quarter of the street already. And then with the property owners over there came to the city as well, interested in to see what it would take to move forward with the rest of the 500 feet.
Do we say off the top of your head that those are gonna be maxed out? Like, probably?
I would think not.
Oh, really?
I would hate to put my foot in my mouth, again, without the engineer here, but I know with the engineer removed, we will probably save 20% in cost with the city engineer and staff. So, it's possible.
So, One of the reasons that I would like this to have gone to committee and still would, well, first of all, everything starts in committee, that's what I've always been told. I have a lot of questions for Kim, and Kim's the subject matter expert. And I know we went through this, earlier, and it was very contentious. Well, no, we fixed our fixes very nicely, but then it fell apart at Berry Street. Can you just remind me quickly about the formulas and why it takes so much calculation? Is it just like the property owners are going to be stuck with a percentage of the overall project? Is that a basic kind of it?
So it starts with the project estimate. 50% of that, up to 50% of the total project cost is borne by the property owners. The other 50% is borne by the city. Of that 50% that's borne by the property owners, we have per parcel maximums. The first one is it cannot be more than 25% of the total value of the property. The second one is, so on a vacant lot, that's usually when that comes into play. Although some of those houses on Willow Street, it could come into play. The second part of it is, under our new policy, we allocate the cost based on the front feet of the parcel. So we have to go and verify how many feet they own along the street, and then allocate out that value based on that number.
But again, you say up to 50% is going to fall on the property owners.
Right.
When and how is, like what if it doesn't? Ideally, this is kind of an ignorant question, I understand, but if we said the max property was $4,000 and we didn't do all these calculations except when it benefited them, I don't know why it's got to be part of the total project budget. That just seems artificial, and that's where all the uncertainty comes from. And if we just said we're doing this project, it's going to cost whatever it's going to cost us, but we do expect the property owners to benefit, therefore we're going to special assess them, and it's going to more or less be predictable. It is $4,000 or whatever for the price we determined it based on the different. That's why I would also suggest this conversation be in a committee. Instead of this arcane formula where we have to say, well, we can't tell you how much it's going to be. You're going to the casino, and we're getting in your pocket, and you're going to the casino. And it just seems like an extra step where we could just say, yeah, this is a rough estimate, but.
So we can give them those maximum numbers. We know what those maximum numbers are going in. The problem is I was being asked to give them lower numbers than what those maximums were in order to get people on board with the project. And I can't do that until I have final numbers.
And for Willow and Lake, there are some of those tiny parcels that might come in at 3,500, 4,000, whatever. And if we go and tell them, here's your monthly cost at 5,000, they might. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference overall, which is why I'm saying we can go in and present this information and tell them this is the worst case scenario. So I get your point, right? If it's maximum 5,000, we can bring that information to them. Any other questions? Okay, so Katie, did you get who made the motion and the second on this?
Lynn, I didn't get the
I
second.
believe it was Stuchel, yes. Okay, so are we all set to have a vote on South and Willow and Lake? Okay, could I have a roll call on that motion?
Yes, Councilperson Wolfram,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino,
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Flynn,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Stuchel.
Yes.
7-0, that one's approved.
Okay, thank you very much. Now the question of Oak and Reading. It sounds like marginally you're saying your suggestion is Oak. Are there any other opinions from city staff? I suppose I'm fine to do that now. If council is willing, I'm also fine to take a few weeks. go to committee, maybe you can make some ballpark numbers, even though we're putting you in an awkward situation. I will entertain a motion either way.
Motion to send it to committee.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to send the Oak reading discussion to Public Services Committee. Any further discussion?
Again, what's the objective?
The objective is to continue the discussion, Councilman Bruns?
I mean, it seemed to me that we were learning all sorts of things from Mr. Mackey and Jason just now about it, and possibly if we continue to ask questions, more will be uncovered.
But you have a committee of
The benefits
people.
of each.
I mean, you want to rely on 3 people to come back with the right answer, or you want to continue discussion full council?
Well, if they have a meeting dedicated to this particular issue, then perhaps more things will come to light, recommending one solution.
But you're taking full council's opinion and voices out of it.
That's what the committee process is.
Well, we still have to vote after the committee looks at it.
I'm not fully confident that we are going to get new information, though when you get these 3 in a room together and just ask some questions for an hour, even you usually find out something, so I'm always fine with that. We always have a good time. Councilman Bentley?
And any of us in the public can sit in on the committee even if we're not on it, if I'm not mistaken. And if further, there doesn't seem to be any particular hurry.
No, there isn't. I mean, one thing we could do is just put out, if you are on Oprah reading and you have really strong opinions either way, or any opinion, come out. I guess I'm viewing more of this as just time to see if we can collect some information from the public. I'm leaning toward Oak, but if I hear 10 people from Oak Street say, I will organize a campaign to stop this thing, then I'm gonna vote for reading, you know what I mean? So that's really my major.
So there is a time frame on this one though, as it needs to be presented at the smart room meeting on the 5th of October.
Yeah, the assumption is that we would vote on this.
On this thing.
If people don't want it to go to committee, then that's fine. I'll take a vote on the other thing too, so.
Okay, very good. So we have a motion and a second to send this to committee.
Send the last part.
Yes.
The second part, just to committee for discussion. We don't even have to make a recommendation necessarily. We can just bring new knowledge and everyone can go out and talk to their neighbors. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. We will make a decision on October 6th. Thank you very much for all that information. It's a tough thing to make a decision about. Okay, and we are on to letter F very quickly here. We have a resolution of support. Hillsdale Renaissance wants to buy 16 Hillsdale Street right behind us, the old rail yard, Indiana Northeastern, thank you, is willing to sell and move to Jonesville. They need MDOT to agree with this and move the project forward so that they can start some renovations on the rail station there. Any questions or comments on this resolution? Yes, Councilman Soha?
I know that they've been working long and hard on this, and the fact that it's come forth and the railroad's willing to move is pretty miraculous.
Yeah, I believe Hillsdale Renaissance, if I understand this correctly, bought a parcel in Jonesville that they could sell to them to build their new rail station. So they are really trying to make this a package deal so that the railroad is willing to move. A lot of work done there. Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Oh yes, Councilman Flynn.
I just wanted to say real quick that members of the Indiana Northeastern Railroad that I've spoken with are in favor of this as well. They've kind of, again, success story. Their offices are based here. They've outgrown their office space in that old depot. And which some are sad because it's a beautiful building, but it's time to, expand. And so they are all in favor of moving to Jonesville as well. It's just the MDOT portion. So.
That's right. Thank you, Councilman Flynn. Okay, do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So, support?
Motion on the floor from Councilman Soha, seconded by Councilman Flynn. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Yes.
Just a quick point, being a resolution, can we do that with ayes and nays? Or?
Should we take a roll call? Okay.
Either way.
I wasn't sure, I just didn't want to.
Yeah, there's nothing really attached to it, it's just a letter of support, but we'll take a roll call vote, thank you. Thank you, Councilman Flynn.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Haley.
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley.
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
Flynn.
Yes.
Soha.
Yes.
Stucho.
Yes.
And Wolfram.
Yes.
7-0 approved.
Thank you very much. And will we, how will this be handled? Will you send this to the address on the
I
resolution?
can get it to Hillsdale response.
And they will send it?
I would assume that's.
Okay. Great, thank you very much. And that's it for new business. Miscellaneous reports, none. General public comment. The podium will be open for 3 minutes. You may speak on whatever you like. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jean Heisey, and I live in the 4th Ward. Yesterday was the annual fly-in, and I'd like to make a few comments about that great event. Thousands of people and families were there with lots of airplanes and vintage cars, and once again, the Kiwanis provided a remarkable hot breakfast. Normally, I understand they serve just under 80 pounds of pancake flour. Yesterday, they had to go out and purchase 20 more pounds of pancake flour. Our new airport terminal is an exemplary model of form follows function. It is beautiful, very handsome. Bob, you did a terrific job at the dedication yesterday, providing so many facts and figures regarding the role of our airport. About Ginger, very few pilots have flown the variety of planes that she has flown, everything from commercial planes to smaller planes, and is also a flight instructor. She has put Hillsdale on the map, but also on the aeronautical map, and that really is important to the success of the airport. We have 3 friends who need and use the airport, and I would like to request, if it's possible, to write a letter of gratitude and commendation to Ginger Moore upon her retirement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello. I think you'll have to all excuse Greg. He doesn't really care about the opinions of others, as made quite apparent by him and 3 of your fellow council members not attending the meeting last Wednesday. If you read your city charter, it sounds like that's a misdemeanor, and I'm just curious on if the board members that did attend are going to do anything about that misdemeanor and the consequences to not coming to an officially called meeting that they should have been to. And from what I understand, didn't even bother giving a reason why they didn't come. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further public comment? Thank you. I will close the podium and we will move on to the city manager's report. Oh, I almost hit the timer for you.
I'll beat that.
No.
Just, you have my written report in there. Just to kind of highlight the summaries there. The Hillsdale County Economic Development Partnership had their annual celebration dinner, and one of our very own, Kevin Conant of Here's to You Pub and Grub, actually took and received the Entrepreneurial Excellence Award for the year with his investment and just business acumen in our downtown. They also went over like the many investments in the local community, from the hospital to County Fair. And with the fair parade will start will be on Monday, September 22nd, and start at 10 a.m.
But it is the most popular fair on earth.
It is the most popular fair on earth, most definitely. And then the Gyro Elementary students will be creating the scarecrows for downtown this year. We are encouraging them, the students, teachers, and administrators will be sharing in this, their creativity and hometown pride through their scarecrows. As was mentioned in regards to the railroad, we do have the Railroad Festival and train events coming up here in October. The festival is Saturday, October 11th, 2025 here, from 12:15 to 4:30 p.m., followed by a block party downtown, another one from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then there is actually a Fall Colors Steam Special, October 17th through 19th. It looks like that one might already be sold out, but we do encourage the local residents to come down and help participate in that. And then some information on the Fall Brush Collection Program. And then I would just like to talk briefly about the airport as well. I think there was just, besides the weather being perfect for the fly-in, there were a lot of local planes, a lot of planes that flew in. We had the helicopter rides, the plane rides, and there was just a tremendous showing of local folks who were coming to take part in that, from the breakfast, the car show, the booths that were there, and then the ribbon cutting. We didn't do a ribbon cutting, but the presentation of the new terminal, and folks had the ability to go through the new terminal. We had cookies and whatnot. And I think it's also important to mention in regards to Ginger, her mother was a pilot as well. And I can't say how many years it was because I just couldn't remember. But her mother and father were some of the first to take their flight instruction, as my understanding, at the new airport, which moved from behind the bowling alley over off State Street. And so while Ginger is in women's aviation is just, a story to be told, her mother as well is a pilot. And she actually came up from Florida to take part in the dedication, which was tremendous to see her there, and her group, which was made up of all women who were basically pioneers in women in aviation. So to see her there and her group, that her mother and their group commander, I say, that was part of that was just something nice to partake in. And Ginger and the Unforgettables did sing a number of songs, and it was a very well attended and special event. So that's all.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Councilman Stuchel?
Is it possible to cover Mrs. Isaacs' request and get Linda or Ginger a letter of gratitude?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Councilman Saab?
I had been asked by some friends who go to church on Sunday morning if there's any way to move the annual event. I know it's been on Sunday every day here, but is there any way to move it to Saturday or?
That would be great.
I don't know. I know it's been a tradition for how long? How long? Forever. But
They have been doing breakfasts there for nearly 40 years now.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's
And
a
it's-
long-standing tradition to change, but.
The good Bible says, though, where two or three are gathered in my name, there am I in their midst. So you get a bunch of church people there saying a nice little prayer over breakfast. That might count as going to church.
I think some people might think that's a very liberal interpretation of gathering together, but nevertheless, it just brought up to me. I wanted to bring it to the city's attention, and that there were people who wanted to go, but they chose to go to their service instead.
That is something we could talk about with the airport committee
Councilman Sohan, and thank you, Mr. Mackey. Yes, I agree. I would also love to attend in the future if it were possible to have it on a Saturday. Any other comments or questions on the city manager's report? Councilman Flynn?
No.
Okay. All set. Council comment. Not that it changes much, but yes, Councilman Flynn.
I appreciate Jean's warm remarks. I just wanted to correct her so that she's not inundated. The Hillsdale Exchange Club puts on the breakfast, not the Kiwanis Club. There were Kiwanians that were helping, trust me. So give credit where credit is due. The Exchange Club, this is their breakfast. They've done it all 36 years, and they were very thankful that yesterday occurred because it is the largest breakfast. They ran out of food twice, and they've never had that problem. And one of the 3 service groups in the area that really do a lot of good, and they were very appreciative of everybody coming out yesterday.
I stand corrected.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn. Any other council comments? Councilman Bentley?
I'd just like to note also, in addition to the wonderful and very well attended airport grand opening, last night there was a very nice and well attended vigil for the slain, assassinated titan of American conservatism, Charlie Kirk. And I'd like to thank the Hillsdale conservatives for organizing that and everyone who came. It was very well attended and touching.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it was a good time. Very well attended for the time and the day. Also, our special meeting was very well attended, and it was a great time. I love having public discussions. Love it when the public comes out and we're able to reason and deliberate together. So thank you to everyone who came to that. Any other council comments?
Make a motion we adjourn. Support.
Motion to adjourn from Councilman Flynn, seconded by Councilman Sohan. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.